Wow, that is not the best. There it is. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Angela and I upload every Saturday at approximately 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to help you lose weight by sharing with you my journey and tips and tricks that have worked for me. I'm like coming at you with this new little light setup that I am actually loving because it's like a little tripod. So that's cool. So here's what I'm going to give you the update about today. I'm going to tell you where I am with my weight loss, which the title's a dead giveaway, so 25 pounds down using semaglutide. I'm going to give you a quick little overview about eating vegan and the meal delivery kits that I've been using. And I'm also going to give you a little tip for the day that I just learned myself that I think is so helpful. All right, so let's dive right in with the weight loss update. So overall, I am down 42.2 pounds from my highest weight of 210. I am 5'2.5" feet tall, so being on the petite side, being that heavy was very hard for me. Walking up the stairs, I would get out of breath, my feet would hurt at the end of the day. It was not the best situation. If you follow me here on YouTube, you know that I struggle with binge eating disorder, and that is something that I have dealt with for decades now. So it's hard. I don't want to sugarcoat it. Having binge eating disorder has been the bane of my existence. It has given me that yo-yo diet syndrome that I feel that so many people who suffer from binge eating can relate to. So let's talk about why I decided to go on semaglutide. Why do this medication? So I actually was very against getting on this type of medication. If you've seen my channel, you know I've done a video where I was okay doing Tenuate, which is a prescription appetite suppressant that I've used before to lose a significant amount of weight, like 20 years ago. But I was doing Tenuate. It was fine. I had no problem with it. It has a little bit of a stimulant, so I decided, I don't want to do it anymore. I didn't have any health negative effects or anything like that. It just ended up being, I don't want to do this. It's a stimulant. I'm just not feeling it. So what was happening was I was seeing several of my friends lose a significant amount of weight, and I was like, what are you doing? And consistently across the board, they were doing Ozempic or Wegovy. And I figured, you know what? I've had several people that have told me they've managed to keep weight off after losing weight on these medications. The reason I was so against losing weight on medications like these is that, unfortunately, there is the rebound effect. No matter how you lose weight, there's always the rebound effect that could happen whenever your habits change and your eating patterns change. So no matter what you do to lose weight, keeping it off is the hardest part, I think. So long story short, I decided to take the plunge. I said, let me just see what happens. So I don't remember exactly when I started taking semaglutide or semaglutide, however it's pronounced, but I started taking it and I did it, I think, about 3 months, and I lost about 16 pounds, give or take. And I kind of hovered there and I said, let me give myself a break. Let me just see if I can keep the weight off. And I was able to keep it off because I feel that I had developed those healthful lifestyle habits that really can make the difference between keeping it off in a sustainable lifestyle that you can maintain, or losing the weight and gaining it back because you go back to your old eating habits. So I really feel as if it was teaching me those habits that were very helpful. And at the time that I started taking semaglutide, I started eating vegan. Let me go get a book for you. Let me show you right here. So I've got this book, and it is called Plentifully Lean. And I adore Plentiful Kiki. You can follow her here on YouTube or on Instagram. And she was a huge inspiration for me because she is the same height that I am. She's also biracial like I am because I'm half Filipino, half Caucasian. She's half, I believe, Mexican, half Caucasian, I believe. So I just love her. I just think that she has really good recipes in this book, and her book is based on the starch solution, which is basically eating vegan and cutting out fats, which sounded crazy to me because I love fats. Like I love avocados, I love oils, all those things, but the starch solution really teaches you to focus on the volume filling foods like grains, like potatoes, rice, oats, whole grains and things like that, and vegetables, fruits, those kind of legumes, whatever. So anyway, I started eating vegan. Now, I will confess to you, I am not whole food plant-based. I do not eat clean vegan. I do allow myself things like processed vegan foods. Like I will allow myself an Impossible Burger or a Beyond Burger, or, I'll let myself have some vegan cheese. And these are processed foods that a whole food plant-based person would probably cringe at. But for me, coming from the way that I was eating, this is a dramatic improvement, okay? So I will tell you that I'm very happy with the decision to eat vegan. Now, also, I do not claim to be 100% vegan because once a month or so, sometimes twice a month, I'll let myself have like a piece of pizza or a little bit of like tuna or whatever. Like I'll let myself eat whatever I want, and it keeps me from going and binge eating. It just works for me. And so this has been the habits that I've been having for months now. And so on the medication, remember I stopped it and I hovered around like 16 pounds down, give or take a few. And then I decided to pick it back up again, probably like 6 weeks ago. Was it 6 weeks ago? Give or take, doesn't matter. Timeline doesn't really matter. But when I picked it back up, my weight was, okay, let me back up. My highest weight starting semaglutide was 193 pounds. When I picked it back up after taking a little break or whatever, I had gotten back up to 183. So now that I think about it, I think I did gain back like 6 pounds, give or take. And that was over a few months, like just the gradual increase. So I'm really thinking about it. I was like, oh, I did start regaining. I didn't regain it all, but I was thinking like I did let the creep come back in because I started binge eating again, which is always the problem with me. Yes. So, long story short, I got back on semaglutide. I'm keeping it at a low dose because typically what you do is you go up. Every month you go up on the medication scale, like you inject more. And so I have decided I'm not gonna go up because to me, I stay at 0.25 milliliters and it stops me from binge eating and that's all I need. If I don't binge eat, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm like a normal human being. So I think as long as I don't binge eat, I'm gonna be great. I'll be good to go, good to go. All right, so that's where I am with the first two topics. The third topic is the health tip of the day. And that basically is to use a pressure cooker when you cook your legumes, beans, rice, grains, all those things. And so that tip of the day just came from the book that I was perusing called The Plant Paradox by Dr. Gundry, and he basically makes this whole premise of there are lectins, Lectins. I even looked it up. Let me Google this for you. There are lectins in the foods that are like legumes, rice, things like that. They are proteins that bind to carb molecules, and they're found in most plant-based foods, which I was like, what? So approximately 30% of our food has lectins, and they play a role in protecting plants against external pathogens like fungi, viruses, and other microorganisms. Certain lectins are considered toxic or anti-nutritional, good to know, which means they interfere with the absorption of nutrients. I said, hold the phone. Hold the phone. I need to know this information and I need to tell this to YouTube because we need to know. This is not commonly out there. This was like, I am so knowledgeable and well-read about nutrition. Like I read all the books. I watch all the YouTube videos or whatever, but this was the first time I'd ever heard about this. So I said, listen, if I don't know about it, YouTube doesn't know about it. So here I am making a video with this tip of the day. Active lectins can interfere with the digestion process since the body can't break them down. Therefore, they can mess with the regeneration of cells that protect the lining in the gut, which may allow bacteria and toxins to slip through the gut into the bloodstream. As a result, this gut imbalance can cause gastrointestinal issues like cramping, bloating, or leaky gut syndrome. Nobody wants that. We don't want that. It can lead to inflammation, yada, yada, yada. So, long story short, when you use a pressure cooker to cook rice, beans, potatoes, basically anything, it breaks down these lectins so your body can absorb the nutrition and eat the food, yada, yada, yada. Also, another thing I did like a long time ago, I tried the raw food diet. I loved it, lost some weight, had energy, yada, yada, yada. But since then, I've learned that eating cooked food is not bad for you. It's actually good for you because it is pre-digested and it helps your body assimilate the nutrition more quickly. Also, another tip, I said I only had one tip, turns out I have like 3 or 4. Another tip is to make sure that you are chewing your food properly. If you don't masticate your food, which means like, chew, 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 that's a masticate. If you don't chew your food properly, your body has to work harder to digest it. I'm telling you, chewing your food properly is the first step in good digestion, and chewing it to where it's like super liquidy or whatever and taking like 30 to 50 chews per bite, it will help you lose weight because it also boosts your satiety. It makes you feel satisfied with less food. It speeds up the, it slows down the brain signal of fullness. So I'm like, even if you don't take semaglutide or medication, just chewing your food properly can help you lose weight. All right, so those are my tips. I hope that's helpful. Drop a comment in the thing below. I will tell you that the last thing I have to say for the day is there are some downfalls to semaglutide. I know I've gotten the question from people asking like, do you have gastrointestinal issues? I have had, I'm gonna say it, let me just warn y'all, I've had some constipation very rarely, and it's when I eat too much food. It's literally like, I get a little bingy, because again, active binge eating disorder, so anytime I have that, it can lead to that. Also, if I'm not drinking enough water, so I'm very careful to be like, making sure that I'm chewing my food, making sure I'm not eating too much, making sure that I have enough water, and then there's zero problems. I'm lucky. I never had nausea. I never had any of the side effects that sometimes people can have on the meds. So I'm good to go. All right. I love y'all. This is really it. I'll see you later. Bye.